So now we're going to look at side leg series. All you need is your mat and your body. So you're just going to lie down on the side. You can use your hand to support your head. If you do want a pillow or something or a cushion to put under your head, you can definitely do that. I definitely want the head to be lined up with the bowl of the pelvis. A lot of times I'll see people kind of just sit up like this to do the side leg series. I prefer you to come on down so that your neck and your head are in line with the rest of your body, because we're really working on that torso neutral stabilization here. My knees are going to be slightly forward of my hip bones. My knees are level, my hips are level, and my shoulders are level. And you can use your hand to gently press into the floor to get a little space under your body here, because otherwise I'm going to be kind of like this. So I really want a tiny bit of space right through here so that I'm more level. Okay, so from here we're going to just start off with leg lifts or knee raises. So I'm just going to lift this leg up and then bring it back down. Now this is a version of a clam. What we're doing is a lateral movement of the leg. And notice that my knee is going higher than my hip or my foot. A lot of times when I see people do this, I'll see them just lift the foot a lot higher. But I'm really trying to get the lateral movement from the hip joint. So as I exhale, I lift, and then inhale, come back through. And again, lift. Now you can do this with your heels together to do a more traditional version of a clam, which you're welcome to do. I really like playing around though with that lift so that you get that lateral motion, that range of motion through that hip. And let's just do one more of these. So this is just lateral lifts. Good, now come all the way back through. I'm gonna lift my leg directly over top of the other one so they're in parallel. From here, my foot is flexed, and I'm gonna push my leg back, almost like I have a wall behind me, and I'm pushing into that wall. So I'm activating the back of my leg. Then let the knee just float towards you again, and do that again. So as you exhale again, find that connection of the low abs sinking in and up, and then come back through. So again, using your breath, the diaphragm comes up, those ribs are connected, obliques, come back through, and again, push. Now notice my hip is not moving. A lot of times when people start moving the leg, because the leg is a weight, the hip will move all over the place because the weight of the leg will start moving the hip. So we're really using the weight of the leg to create more core stabilization, which is your whole torso, and truly finding that motion in the hip joint. So pushing back, allowing yourself to come back forward. The other thing to watch for here is a lot of times when the knee comes forward, the tailbone will tuck under. So don't let that happen. So maintain that neutral pelvis going and coming. Good job. Now we're going to go into some circles. So my knee's going to come forward. I'm going to go laterally, pull back. And now I'm going to add a little medial rotation and come up again. So lateral, back, medial, and forward. So see if you can get that full motion in the hip joint. Good job, you guys. So this catches up with you. And a few more of these. You're going to start feeling this. Now the reason why I do a lot of this to start off with the knee bent is because if I extend my whole leg, it's a lot heavier. And so I'm really trying to isolate that hip. A lot of times when people extend the whole leg, they miss the whole point of the hip, creating this motion. And now last time, but now we are going to start working with the leg going into that elongated position. I'm going to push my leg back behind me again, push, push, push. Now reach the leg away, so my toes point here. I'm going to flex my heel, swing my leg forward, and then pull back again. So this is the exact same motion we were doing a second ago when I was doing the knee coming to you and pushing back, except now my leg is elongated. But it should feel the same in the hip joint. So the movement's coming from that hip, and I'm still in that neutral position of the torso. And again, I know you're starting to feel this. If you want to do little pulses, it does give you a little hamstring release, so you can push, push, and then pull back. Then the breath will go, inhale, pull. Almost like you have Pilates straps that you're pulling on the way back. So you're working, going, and coming. One more time here, and reach, reach, and reach. Good job. Go ahead and release that. I'm going to take my top leg and reach it all the way along. I'm going to push my leg away from me. So notice my hip is coming farther away from my shoulder. So kind of push down a bit. Take the top arm overhead. So I'm just getting a long stretch. Reach from the fingertips to those toes. Deep breath in. All I'm going to do is lift the leg and the arm toward one another and then reach them away from one another again. So again, I'm not going to let my head come up. I'm also trying to keep the torso in this relatively still position So I'm moving at the hip and the shoulder now. And let's do 2 more of these. I love this, it's a good one. And one more time. It's almost like half of a jumping jack. On this next one, my hip will go toward the ground. So I'm gonna roll over slightly onto my back and then reach forward a little bit on the way back through. My leg goes slightly behind me. So I'm creating a little bit of an X pattern. So I'm reaching. And again, exhale, inhale, reach, reach, reach. And 2 more of these. Inhale, reach. And one more time. Come all the way back through and you can release. Good job. Go ahead and release that. All right. So I'm just going to stretch out our upper body just a little bit because that was a lot. I'm going to take the top arm forward, walk my fingertips forward a bit, draw my elbow back, my palm comes to my shoulder, and allow the weight of my hand to gently open me up here. Deep breath in and exhale. So you're going through a little rotation and extension. So when I go through here, notice the rotation starts, but then about right here, my breastbone starts lifting up a little bit. Deep breath in and exhale. This is a wonderful move. I encourage people to do it. Reach open, open, and open. Now for those of you who want to go through a greater range of motion and play with it, you can let the whole arm go, but make sure that it's not just your arm dropping back and your head is going to follow. A lot of times I'll see people do this and they move the arm and look up, so they don't really get any rotation. So make sure that the torso is rotating and then the arm can reach farther back and then come all the way back through. Good job, you guys. Okay, we're just gonna sit up and do the same thing other side. So again, bending both knees to you, and you're gonna watch that form. I want my head lined up with my pelvis. My pelvis is in neutral, so I'm not tucked under and I'm not overextended. Shoulder over shoulder, knee over knee, hip over hip, and a little bit of lift under the side waist. From here, all I'm going to do are these lateral movements of the leg. And again, the knee goes a little higher than the hip and the foot. So exhale, inhale back through. And again, it's almost again like that fish hook feeling that I talked about before, where you're drawing in and up through the low abdominals. And again, exhale. And let's do a few more of those. You're going to really start feeling this. Now this leg was working when we did the other side. It was helping to stabilize you. So you're going to, this side might feel a little bit more intense than the other side. And now we're going to start going through a little bit of a push back. So my leg just floats right above the other one. I'm in parallel. Foot is flexed. And I'm going to push back, back, back through the upper back part of the leg, the extensor. Push back and then hinge forward. And again, now notice my pelvis isn't going to rock back and forth. So the tendency a lot of times is when the knee comes forward is for the tailbone to tuck under. Try to keep that from happening. And again, exhale, push, 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 push. As you get that push using that extensor, you're opening up this. So your glute will kick in. When you engage your glute, it helps open up the front of the hip. Good, and 2 more of these, and exhale. So we're really looking at movement patterns right now. So you're starting to see some patterns. Good job. Now let the knee come to you and we're going to do circles. Now we're going to medially rotate, parallel, lateral, back through that extension, medial, forward, up, back. Make sure you get that back motion. A lot of times I'll see people just keep their knee out here. So I really want you to think of getting that back, push back, then down, and again, back and down. Let's do one more time. Good job, you guys. Now we're just going to push that leg back, open up again, and now see if we can extend the whole leg. Keep that leg there. We're going to flex the heel forward and then pull back. When I first started doing this work, it took me years to be able to achieve this because I had a really hard time maintaining torso stabilization. So when I would move my leg, I would tuck my tailbone under and then my body would arch when I pulled back. So it's okay if your range of motion isn't very good. It's okay to stay within a small range of motion. So what I had to figure out, it was better to play with a smaller range of motion than a bigger one because that allowed me to maintain that stabilization. And as you get the stabilization, you'll get stronger and have a greater range of motion. Again, if you want to do these kicks, you can. And one more time, and then pull all the way back through again. Nice job. All right, take that top leg, reach it all the way long, and push that hip away a bit. The foot goes on the ground. Reach your arm all the way long, long stretch, reaching through the toes and the fingers. Now all you're gonna do is lift the arm and foot toward one another and then reach them away again. So we'll exhale to come up, inhale to go back through. And again, exhale, inhale back through. And again, inhale, come back through. And 2 more. And 1 more time. Now on this next one, I'm going to start taking my torso through a little motion. So my hips go to the floor, and then I reach slightly in front of myself. My fingers and my leg go slightly behind me. And again, so I'm going through a little flexion and a little extension. Feels wonderful. And again, exhale and inhale, like these diagonal lines that we're playing around with. And 2 more of those. And 1 more time. Again, let your head go along for the ride here. As you're going, then come all the way back through. Good job. All right, so now we're going to end with this beautiful little stretch. Reach your fingertips out in front of you. Draw the palm towards your underarm and allow your body to open in rotation. So I think of like there's a line from my hip to my shoulder, and I'm extending that line. Deep breath in, and exhale, come all the way back through again. So again, from my left hip to my right shoulder, I'm getting longer through this rotation. Reach, 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 inhale, and exhale. If you're tight in your pecs, this is gonna feel so good. I'd say most people are probably tight in their pecs. And again, if you wanna take your whole arm, you can go through that motion. Deep breath in, and exhale, come all the way back through. And 1 more time. Open, 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 and come all the way back through again. Good job, you guys.